Hi, today we're going to be talking about the importance of a loving home and what does that look like. Stay tuned.
You don't want to miss it. You're listening to Marriage Mania, where we are audacious, sagacious, and tenacious for the Lord to uphold godly marriages and to raise fervent children who are countercultural and stand for biblical truth.
Hi, welcome back. I'm Tanya.
And I'm Michael.
And today we're going to be talking about the importance of having a loving home. Like, what does that look like and how do you make that happen? So we're going to talk about that. But before we get started, please subscribe here. It really helps us to get the message out. We want to be able to reach as many families as possible for the gospel. And we also want to let you know we have Bible studies. We have the covering, the role of biblical husband, the helper, the role of biblical wife. And these are great studies to build up your marriage and to understand the biblical role that you have, that God has put in place. It's so exciting to see many families be able to change and go into that direction of what God's word has to say. And you can find those Bible studies on www.marriagemaniaministry.com. So today we're going to talk about how do we have a home that's just filled with love? Like, how do we have that? And how do we apply that in our lives? Because we're so busy. There's so much going on every day. There's so many things that come at us, different demands all the time. And so how do we do this? How do we implement a loving home in our home?
That's some good points there. And, the most impactful thing you can do is to provide a loving home. I love what 1 Peter 4:8 says, and above all things, be fervent for your love for one another, for love covers a multitude of sins.
Yeah.
And there are so many commands about loving your family. Husbands, agape love your wives, as Christ agape loved the church and gave himself up for her, which is a sacrificial kind of love that gives. And wives, phileo love your husband, says Titus 2:4, which is a friendship kind of love, a call to be kind to your husband. And parents, provide love and discipline for your children, says Proverbs 13:24. A healthy home just produces healthy children. It doesn't matter how awesome and perfect you are as a parent. A lot of your parenting is going to be completely wrong and unhelpful.
I agree 100% because, we're in this phase of parenting, and so that we fail every day and God's grace is sufficient.
Right. You will miss the mark at every turn.
Yeah.
And if your kids want to blame you for how they turned out, you will give them plenty of ammunition. But if you apologize for your missteps, your loving home will completely overwhelm your mistakes and produce healthy outcomes. Yeah. That is why the best thing you can do for your children is to love each other as spouses and put your relationship first ahead of the children. A loving home is the best gift you can give to your children. Love each other, go on dates, serve one another, be kind and gentle with each other, and place the other person first in your life. Your love for each other will overflow to your kids as you spend time together as a family and invest some one-on-one time with each of your kids. Read to them, talk to them, disciple them, teach them, listen to them, play with them, walk with them, hug them, kiss them, encourage them, and tell them you love them at every turn. A love-starved child will wreak havoc on their own life and yours. Guaranteed.
Yeah.
And when a child is filled with the love and security that comes from a healthy home, the world will be their oyster. Think of your love as a miracle drug that produces life, and be sure to give a healthy dose of it every day.
Yeah, that's so good. I love that because we're just so busy with so many things and there's so many frustrations that can come, throughout the day. And it's like, how do you overcome that? How do you overcome those moments where you're just feeling frustrated because you have something or there's a deadline or something pressing and your children just want to be with you. Your children just want that attention and that love. And I know for me, I need to really take a step back and say, okay, let's talk. Let's see what's going on and just try my hardest. And there's sometimes I can't because I'm in the middle of some kind of critical thinking that I've got going on in my head because I've got to get it put down and I just can't. I cannot give that attention. And so for me as a mom, I can feel pretty guilty about that. I can feel like I am not giving you that love that you need right now. So it's like that hard balance of how do you do that when you've got an urgent situation happening right now and you've got to get it done. You've got a deadline. and your child's like, I just need your attention. I just really need you. But then they need you all the time, right? They need you every second. And so you've got to work. There's some things that you've got to get done around the house.
Right. So what are some things that we can do in the middle of all this mania, so to speak, what our ministry is about, marriage mania and all this marriage mania and family mania and work mania, all this mania going on? How do we make time for each other in order to build those strong bonds and strong relationships? What are some things that we can do to really build that strong connection?
Yeah, I mean, those are great questions. I know for us, we try to take a walk. It's not very consistent, and especially when it's really cold. Springtime and summertime are just great times to walk around the neighborhood. But I think walking really does change our perspective. Really, like just feeling overwhelmed with whatever's going on at that moment, and then just say, "Okay, everybody, let's go for a walk. We're going for a walk." And then, usually our daughter has her little scooter and she's like ahead of us. So that actually gives us some time to talk and think through some things and have those conversations that's on the top of our mind that we need to get out because we can't, because there's so many things happening at that one moment. But it does give us all a different perspective. And then we come back after walking for 30 minutes and we all feel refreshed.
Yeah, I mean, just getting outside in the fresh air, the sunlight, and getting your heart rate up just a little bit. All of those are just
some fast-paced walking, right?
Yeah, all that combined is just so beneficial to one's emotions and de-stressing. To just the value of sunlight alone can do so much, and that fresh air and just that little break from whatever you're working on, and to do it as a family. So you're associating your family with good times, with de-stressing, versus just the mania of life is just all you associate your family with. And so walks. That's definitely a great way. And
another one that we've been doing lately is going to the gym together. And it's been very interesting because we get up and we're at the gym by 6 a.m. taking cycling classes and doing weights and all these things with our daughter who's almost 9. And so all the other adults are like so impressed. They're like, what? She's here working out with you. And we're like, we're trying to do this as a family. And I know you and we don't take technology in there. And it just feels so great. I mean, I know you and I've talked about that. We like leave and we're like, we're so excited and we're pumped up. We're like, man, what a great way to start the morning, as we just did some exercise and cycling class and all of us, and we just have a different mood about us. And there's no answering of the phone or looking at the phone or scrolling. And I know like some of the machines too, when we don't take the cycling classes, have these like screens that show like you're outside and like a path and stuff. And we're like, okay, don't put that on because it just kind of messes with our mind. We're like, just want to stop any kind of technology and just be simple and have conversations while we're on the treadmill.
Yes. And, and what's really great is you also model great healthy living for your child as you're exercising together, either through the walks or going to the gym. And, her exercising, I'm not sure if she's putting in a vigorous kind of cardio exercise when she's on the bikes with us, but she does it
Our
for
daughter,
right. She does the bikes for a half hour, and she does the weights, but the technique and how much she's doing is not all that important, but just being there together while at the same time modeling healthy living, to get outside, to exercise. So many kids today are very sedentary, as well as adults. We're sitting all day and we're not moving, and this culture has been like the unhealthiest it's ever been in the history of cultures, because we live so much sedentary lives and our diets aren't necessarily well. So the more we can model that as well. And I just remember the impact it had growing up when my parents, we didn't do it consistently, but just the times that we did do it had a huge impact, where we exercised every morning as a family, and us boys with our dad went running. My mom preferred to walk, and so the girls wanted to walk with her, so they walked. and we did it at the same time. And we did that first thing in the morning, and then they took us to school because we didn't make the bus. We didn't get up early enough to do that, but that had an impact on me to that modeling of just healthy living, to make sure we get out there and exercise. And it's an important part of the day. It makes us feel better. We have more energy.
Yeah.
And so your body can deal with stress a lot better when you exercise. So there's so many benefits for that. And so when our children see that, not only are we bonding together as a family, but we're also modeling good, healthy living as well. So a twofer.
Yeah. I was going to say too, another fun thing that we like to do too is we read together, and especially at night. I know we're so tired because we wake up so early in the morning, but we get the giggles at night, and I actually look forward to that because we're all like, snuggling together. We're all reading some kind of amazing book by Lou Giglio, and talking about the incredible things that God has done in creation. So we're learning while we're laughing at certain things, and just it's such a great, like, fun moment that I think that it's going to put in her heart, our daughter's heart, those moments when she went to bed, like leaving those little memories of like, hey, at night we used to do this fun stuff. So I want to do this with my kids, So I think those are some fun things too that we do every night.
Oh, yes, no doubt. That's a very warm family moment, those bedtime routines and reading, and don't just read anything. I mean, if you can read something that's educational, associated with scripture. I love Lou Giglio's book, like you said, that just has these awesome, like, nature facts and things that just
learn a lot.
They're fascinating, and it holds our daughter's attention. She's like, wow, that's really interesting. And then she wants to see a YouTube video on that so she can see it. And it's just a fun time. And it reminds me of Dr. Nurse Mama. She kept that bedtime routine going on through her children's teenage years.
Yeah, I'm hoping that we do that too, because that would be amazing.
Yeah, that it was just a warm.
You're not kicking us out. We're coming in there.
Yeah, just a time to spend at the end of the day with each other and catching up. And she reads to her teenage children. You read different things with teenagers than you do children, but that Lou Giglio book is for all ages. I mean, you can read that with your teenagers.
I mean, we've learned a lot.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Those are some great ideas. Board games? What about that?
We talked about board games and puzzles and stuff like that. We have some great friends that really have like this game night, and that's also encouraging because we can do like puzzles. So that kind of gave us the idea too of doing that, and board games. I mean, some of the board games that we are doing take a long time, and at nighttime it can be a little challenging for us because we're so tired. But I do think that it does help us, bond and laugh and try to figure out, how to solve a puzzle or how to solve the game. I know we like to play Uno. We haven't done that in a little bit, but Uno is another great one that we would just like laugh because somehow, somebody would always win, that one person. And it's like, how are you always winning? But so I mean, I think those were great things.
Yeah, those are fun times, and especially like around the holidays, we had a tradition of like putting together a puzzle, buying a new different puzzle at Christmas, and putting that together. That was good times. Going to the park is especially when the weather's nice. Hey, let's just get outside. Let's go to the park and play in the playground and have good fun times.
Yeah, because we take our chairs, our little, I guess, what do you call them?
Just folding chairs.
Folding chairs, yeah. So we take our folding chairs and we just sit and watch, and we have conversation, and while these little things just fall on our head from the trees. But it's I don't know, pellets or something, but it's fun and we enjoy it. We like going to the park and just kind of watching her having a great time.
And at the park, there's great trails as well. And we go walking on the trails, and there's a little nature center that everyone loves to go to. And so we'll spend some time at the nature center.
I think hiking too. Like we've done a couple times where we've gone to the mountains and just hiked for the day for a birthday. I think we did that for, I think my birthday one year when we went and hiked and checked it out. It was really nice, and we got to eat some really nice food at a authentic Mexican restaurant, which was amazing. But yeah, I mean, I think those are fun things. And
Yeah.
Great Wolf Lodge is another one.
Mm.
That's super fun.
Yeah,
We love
water
that.
country and those
Yeah,
kind
we
of
love those.
outings. You had to get like season passes so you can
Yeah.
just kind of go there whenever and just spend a day trip and spend some fun family time at the water
Mhm.
park or at Great
Mhm.
Wolf Lodge or
Mhm.
any of the Busch Gardens, those kind of things. Whatever
Yeah,
park is kind of like near you. We have those three parks that are right near us. Is really
kind of. Yeah, yeah.
yeah hour away. So it's really a lot of fun, good getaway, those kind of things. Or traveling, like vacations, coming
Yeah.
up with some special trips to
Mhm.
go to as well for your more extended times. And I was just reading an article by Dr. Jessica Peck, Dr. Nurse Mama. If you are familiar with her radio broadcast, but she wrote an article, and this recent article talked about how traveling is an incredible opportunity to nurture your child's development. Experiencing
Mm.
new environments, new insights and sounds stimulates children's brains and spurs on creativity, problem solving, and adaptability as they adapt to different situations. You get exposure to different cultures. So great cultural training and cultural understanding. And that cultural training doesn't have to be to different parts of the world. Different areas of the country are very different with very
Mhm.
different environments and cultures. And so all that is very educational for a developing brain, while at the same time is giving the family just a very close, warm experience that you share together, which then
Mhm.
uh, goes into the future as you're reminiscing about it and talking about it and sharing the experiences that you had in these.
Yeah, I love that because when we went to South Dakota, that was amazing. We were all just with our mouths open because the architecture there, the land there is so different. The animals, there were so many beautiful things that we saw.
That you don't see around here,
Yeah, I
right?
mean, because it's out Midwest,
Yeah, it's
which is
just a different part of the country
absolutely,
with different animals and
yeah,
different
it was beautiful. And
landscapes. Yeah.
Mount Rushmore, where we did a lot of
Mm.
history and just learning about that and going out to just the different areas and different national parks. It was just the Badlands. I mean, that was a great experience just to be able to learn and see those things and then just understand why it was called the Badlands. So it kind of brings up us to look at why that national park was called that and the history behind it. And I mean, those were great trips that we were blessed to have, and trips that we could go around different states and go hiking and checking out different areas of different mountains in the United States. And it was uh, different beaches too down in Alabama. I mean, it's just so many amazing places in the United States that were just so eye opening for us. And we got to learn ourselves. We got to learn great experiences. And also, our daughter was just so thrilled. Like, I can't wait till we go to our next road trip. And, it was a lot of planning, but
Yeah, but these shared experiences just produce a lot of warm, loving moments, and it helps spur on those different five love languages, right? But as you hug more, you're saying kind words to each other, and you buy gifts for each other for souvenirs and stuff, and you might serve one another as you're helping. Hey, can you get this for me? Or you're dealing with something that
mm-hmm,
didn't quite turn out right in the planning, and so you have to problem solve that. So
mm-hmm,
you're serving one another, and then just the quality time that you have. It incorporates all the five love languages
yeah,
when you do these special events, these special, whether it be games or going to the park or hiking or on a vacation or a day trip to some park nearby, all of this just
mm-hmm,
spurs on these warm family moments that just connect us and bind us together
mm-hmm.
and covers a multitude of sins.
That's so good. Yeah, I totally agree. And that's a great perspective because it does bind us together and it brings that memory that we can talk about. And I know for us, I tend to put everything on Shutterfly. So shout out to Shutterfly and how they have these amazing books that they allow you to put all of your pictures together. And so we've collected pretty much all of our vacations and everything so that we can just kind of look through them and say, wow, I remember that. Oh my gosh, look at what you did here. Oh, I forgot about when we hiked here. It was just, it's so great. I love putting the memories together because it's all on our phones, but having them in like an album, like Shutterfly puts them together. It's just absolutely nice.
Yes.
So, I mean, I think that's just awesome to be able to talk about just some great experiences to bring a loving home together. And it doesn't have to be anything complicated. Like we were talking about, just taking a walk, going to the park, or a memory, or going to an amusement park, a water park, just something that can kind of get you away from the day-to-day mundane. I mean, people would say vacations. But even those little day trips are great. Even having a picnic in your backyard would be amazing. And so I loved this conversation because it just fuels my heart to want to take a vacation so we can make more memories.
Yeah, and make a picture book of it. I like that idea that you did. I mean, all those trips, those vacations are chronicled. You put together such a great book, and we can keep looking back at it. Our daughter looks at it all the time. We look at it all the time just to reminisce about the good times that we shared together.
Yeah, and I mean, just any special moment. So I love this, and I hope that you guys enjoyed just this talk around just bringing some loving ideas into your home to bring your family closer and to bond even closer by doing things that the Lord has provided, by going outside and walking and just enjoying his creation and just doing little things to show how much you love one another. So I hope you enjoyed this podcast. Please remember to give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed this podcast. And also, please remember that we have Bible studies for marriage